initial reaction to the Carter 4 is that the beats are good. But I've never been a Lil Wayne fan. I've grown from being a Lil Wayne hater to appreciating what he does. I saw him at Summer Jam, and I realized that he is a star. But his material is not for me. So, I get it. Millions of people buy McDonald's around the world, and I think he delivers McDonald's raps.
That's interesting.
I like Burger King.
Burger King is good too, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately around the world, it's McDonald's, and right now McDonald's is Lil Wayne in the rap world. That's my opinion. No shots though.
Yeah, I don't really like it, and I do like Wayne.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I like.
How so? Why?
Well, I mean, going into some history shit, before they did their deal, like we were one of the labels that they looked at. So like I still have some of those early albums. Wayne was like 12, like 11. I still have a couple of those records. He had like a little afro and shit. So I remember I've just kind of seen the evolution and the growth from that early Wayne and to the Go DJ guy and to the guy that finally really like found his place in his pocket. So I like Wayne, and I think he's almost like, and this kind of blasphemous, but I think he's almost like a rap version of like Michael Jackson in that he's the first artist that's grown up, like literally grown up from a kid in rap. And
successful rap artist.
Yeah, as a child, you know what I'm saying? All the way
right.
through, and still as, I guess, 27 or so years old now, has like, obviously mad credibility and mad respect, and has grown into, has reached that potential to be like this like rock star, icon artist from this kid. So I look at him like that, and I like Carter 3, but this album to me just sounds very like, I think Wayne needs to start writing stuff down.
That's exactly what it is.
Because look, Jay, Big, these guys are fucking extraordinarily smart, man. It's an exceptional person that can just kind of put some stuff in their head, and when they spit it out, it actually makes sense and very cohesive and has a beginning, middle, and the end. And his stuff is just very kind of like nonsensical. It's just kind of like free form. But every song, I don't want to hear like when he nails it, like 6'7". When he nails that freeform shit, it's crazy. Right. But sometimes it's like, okay, this song is supposed to be about what? A red cover, and he's talking about cars and shit. Like it's just like it's all over the place. The album just doesn't make any. There's no cohesiveness to it. That's my issue with it.
I think when I saw the Carter documentary, it shows you like how Lil Wayne works, so you can see why it doesn't have that cohesiveness. It feels like he just goes in the studio every day and writes, and that's probably a hard thing to do, like to write and be brilliant every single day, all the time. And you're right, sometimes I listen to his lyrics, because you'll listen to a Lil Wayne song and you're like, okay, singing along, and then you're like, what am I saying? And that happens with a lot of artists too. And like Lil Wayne says himself, he's all over the place. Like he's on everybody's song, he's on everybody's album. That's a lot of lyrics.
It's a lot of content.
Yeah, a lot of content to put out there to consistently be great. So I don't know, I mean,
well, a lot of that comes from him being on the road, him traveling, him being out there, seeing different things, him doing 30,000, 40,000 seat arenas every single night, and just being inspired by what he's seen in his journey and things like that. So a lot of times he's going to react, he's going to write on impulse, he's going to write on what he sees in the crowd, what he sees as far as the culture of where he's at. And he could be in Arizona today, Buffalo tomorrow, and things like that. He just kind of just all transcends into something that makes him want to go to the studio and write about it and things of that sort.
But I don't really, that's the problem, but I don't really get that when I hear him. I don't hear him talking about kind of like what's going on. It's like another, you could say he's in Arizona today and he's in Buffalo tomorrow, and he, did this and he did that. And I don't really hear that in his records. Like I just hear him just talking. He's like kind of turned to like a punchline rapper.
Yeah, kind of like what Jeff said. I'm not too big of a fan of the album itself. I think Wayne's like, it's just incoherent, and he's just rapping on the records, and it doesn't make sense. I just think it's really incohesive, and it's probably not his best work. It's probably his strongest numbers wise the first week, but in turn, second. But there was a lot for him to talk about. Like he really didn't touch on any
about shit.
The jail, him having the kids.
None.
I felt like there's a lot of subject matter he could touch on that he just didn't this time.
I agree.
How to Love is a great song. I mean, for me, I think that's a song for females. Right there. But there's not a lot of songs that the first time I hear it, I really like it. And the first time I heard that song, I did like it. And I thought that was a pretty, cohesive song. A lot of people like the video.
The video's dope. The
You know,
video's
and
dope. I can't
when you have a
video's
great
fly.
video, it really helps you like the song a lot better.
That's true.
But I think that was something that he did take kind of a risk with.
You
that
know,
worked.
I actually like the song also. Pause. But it's because there's good I guess structure in the song. It's
Yeah.
melodic.
Yeah.
The hook is very simple, and it's all about the hook.
Mhm.
So even though it's not my favorite song, it's one of the more tolerable songs to me.
Yeah.
Tolerable.
Because it crosses all over. You know what I'm saying? My kids like it, women like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy song to like.
It's a hit.
Yeah, that record hit almost at 3 million in
Really?
iTunes. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right behind
It's a
Lollipop.
hit. A lot of people think
No,
that Baby or Universal or combination like bought
A lot of people
records.
or like
Absolutely
the
not.
English industry.
Well, the
Absolutely
industry,
not.
of course.
The industry is not a lot of people.
Well, I'm just saying the rumor is out
Right.
that there was some funny business with the sales. That's
Funny
what I'm
business
saying. I personally don't believe that. I just know that that's very hard to do,
in this day and age.
and it's very
Absolutely.
The
expensive.
word is expensive.
Because it's very expensive to buy 300,000 albums. That's fucking expensive. You cutting deep into your profit. Like, why would you do that? I think that it's just Wayne's a
Wayne's
fucking
goal.
rock
Wayne
star,
comes
It's
man.
Wayne's world right now.
He's a rock
He put out
star.
an album 08, Carter 4. He did
$1
Carter
million.
3. He did $1 million the first week. It's already at $4 million combined in its entirety. He came out with the Rebirth album. He did $1 million plus on that one, and that was the
Wasn't even
while
here.
While he was away in jail. He came out right now. He's been on the road for the last 7-8 months touring. He had 4 records before this. You know what I mean? And comparing this to Watch the Throne didn't have any real radio.
They didn't do any promotion, really. They just put it out.
Wow.
I mean, if you think about it, though, even though a lot of people don't buy records these days, it has never been that easy to buy records. So all these kids have these iPads, all these kids have their Macs and their laptops and whatever, and even on their iPhones. And Wayne is, like I said earlier, speaking to their generation.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's representing their generation, and it is so easy, kids may not have that much expendable income, but they will spend their money on what they want.
What they want, absolutely.
And it's so easy, like it's a press of a button, and you will have Wayne.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny too? I was looking at the sound scan when the numbers came out, and a lot of my friends and people in New York and the surrounding areas, they was like, "Yo, I don't know anyone with the album."
Right.
Wayne?
Yeah. They told me, I don't know anybody with the album. Like, they're lying, saying that the rumors are true. But then I looked at the sound scan. I said, well, you know what? The Northeast is Wayne's weakest territory.
Yeah.
He sold like 44,000 here. So obviously people aren't feeling the
Middle America,
momentum.
you go to Kentucky, Wisconsin.
I'll say this: like they really only had one song that was like a big single before the album came out, which
So do you count 6 or 7 as a big
6 or
single?
7.
I don't think it was as that like How to Love was like on Z100.
it was a
on
monster.
the that was a big
Really?
hit record. 6
All
foot
across the
7.
board.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
All
pop.
four.
It's a
pop
pop.
record.
It's a pop
The
record.
V-
6
VMAs?
foot 7 was so long ago too.
True.
Top of the
Like,
game. That's his
there
first
was-
look after he came home from jail.
Right, yeah, and that was I didn't even remember it was on the album when you know what I'm saying? Like it was a long time ago. So I was a little surprised that it did as well as it did. I didn't think it was gonna sell that much. Like when Birdman was like, we're gonna go platinum in the first week. I was like, I mean, y'all have one, big single that I like, but I didn't feel like it was followed up by, right away by something else. But I guess I didn't think it would. And especially when the Watch the Throne numbers came out, just looking at it, I was like, well, they only sold, not even gold. So I don't know how Lil Wayne's going to be that because that's Kanye and Jay-Z. And then people are like, well, the climate of the music industry right now, people aren't buying records. Like you think about all of those different things. Like nobody's
factors.
selling what they used
Not
to.
gonna lie.
I wasn't
Before he came out, I would
astonished.
say 800.
I wasn't astonished because once again,
The
like, I have
generation
kids,
thing, yeah.
and I see
You
like
know what
I
it
took
is.
my son to Summer Jam, and when Wayne came out, like he
lost
lost
it.
his mind.
Wow.
He lost his mind, and it's like, and I kind of gauge, I kind of maintain my relevance right now, and gauge what's hot through my son's
Yeah, I
eyes.
do the same thing with mine.
My son is 14 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I speak to him, and last week I had a conversation with a young lady that works here that's 20, and I get it. Like, who else in this generation of rappers is representing that person other than Wayne? Like, name any other candidate?
Probably Drake.
But Drake still, Drake is
He's still growing.
He's still growing. He's only had one album.
True.
And if you think of any other sound that is prevalent that these kids really fuck with, you name me that representative.
So your son and the 20-year-old love the album?
They love the album. This one girl, this 20-year-old, I had a conversation with her, and cats were like interfering and being rude, but I really wanted to get into her head.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that she thinks, number one, that the Carter 4 is far greater than Watch the Throne, number one. Number two, she said that she can't relate to Jay-Z because what Jay-Z is saying, well, her quote unquote, she said Jay-Z doesn't say anything.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say that Lil Wayne is more for like the average person.
His swag, I think, is accessible. I think that's what we're trying to say.
If we think about
compared to Ye, like Ye swag is not accessible because
He's still
it's
eccentric.
Can't afford that.
Well, it's expensive. Yeah, it's like,
And he's eccentric. Like Ye is super eccentric.
He is, but I'm saying he is, but also like his leather will be like $5,000. Like it's not accessible. Wayne's jeggings are probably
they were like $45.
That's what I'm saying.
Baby skin.
You too can own these.
But think about Jay-Z. Him in the transfer to his peak of his career, going from wearing jerseys to wearing button-ups to drinking gold bottles of champagne. Like people did that because Jay did it, and things like so. Right now, it's all about Wayne's time. It's his moment.
When we were interviewing the Game the other day, and he goes to Jay-Z, he was like, listen, the problem with Jay-Z now, he can't really say nothing too crazy because he has all these sponsors and people that he has to deal with. So now it's like, you can come at Jay, because what's he going to say back to you? He can't say nothing too crazy.
He can't get too gritty with it.
Yeah, he can't get too street. He can't get too gritty because
It'll
he's
just
going
be
to lose
subliminal.
some of the money behind it.
I think right now the game is just everyone's too friendly. Everyone's saying, "Oh, that's my brother. I love working with him."
That's
Like,
what
you don't
it
know
is.
this guy, man. What's like talk about this guy? Just be disrespectful. I like beef when it was almost to the point where I thought the guys were really going to kill each other.
For Jay, who's in his 40s, going at Wayne, who is
27. It
27.
looks silly.
It does look silly, and then you don't want to necessarily. It's not like they're contemporaries or peers, even though they're in the same game. So it almost looks like Jay will lose a lot of, or potentially turn off a lot of potential fans, or the fans that he already has in the younger generation if he comes at. I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't wait to Watch the Throne, and I don't even buy records anymore. But because they made it so exclusive and hard to reach, like I think the older heads really wanted to hear what that was, but the older heads are not going out of their way.
When Jay-Z, like that's the thing too. People keep saying the kids ain't the only people that listen to hip hop. I listen to hip hop too, and a lot of other people do as well.
And I do
so
too.
when Jay-Z puts out an album, to me, it's almost like a moment. It's an event.
It's an event.
Look at the movement, like Cash Money, Young Money over the years has just been so brilliant,
phenomenal.
so brilliant,
Phenomenal.
And over the past 2 years, man, it's been a Wayne's world, a Nicki's world, a Drake world. I mean, that momentum has not stopped. Even when he was away, his music was touching, and his music was touching the audience, and his audience was growing.
Yeah.
So at this day and age, you have Nicki's fan base, a huge percentage of that, which is Wayne's fan base. And then you have Drake's fan base, which is a huge percentage. So it's just masterful timing, very fortunate. The stars aligned, and it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
He has a monstrous white audience now. Like
Absolutely.
his white
Absolutely.
audience is tremendous. You looked at the VMAs, like them Jersey Shore kids was like rocking. To me, they was rocking harder than him than they rocked Otis.
If you go to a Wayne concert, you can't find a black
It's
person.
probably 75%.
Unless they work there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's all white. Yeah, so
All security.
that's the thing too. That it's like you talk to people who said they didn't have the album. I bet most of them was black. But if you go to
Long Island.
Montclair, New Jersey, or out in Long Island,
Iowa.
they all got
They
it.
probably could do the whole version. But Wayne right now is the trendsetter for that whole 15 to 30-year-old age bracket.
Exactly.
And things of that sort. When he wears those Van sneakers and he wears the bottles he wears and the things of that sort.
Charisma, vodka with a spritzer, swagger down pats, call my shit Patricia, young money militia.